look, we have to learn Tanya in our therapy office today.
Yeah.
But I just want to ask one more question, and it's more of a praise, and it's not chashem from any, hopefully from any not good reason. No agenda. Why I'm asking this question. I said we managed to learn every morning from 7 till 8 almost, from about a month and a half maybe.
Right.
That's pretty impressive. Like I know, like we've switched up this time, and we're now working out this new schedule, and it has put a bit of a time crunch on my day a little bit because now I've got less time in the day. But the good news is, Mincha is getting later and later, so then I can get more done in that in between time. So it's actually in a way like good timing the way it worked out with the changing of the clocks and stuff coming up. But just on another sense, that was pretty impressive on your side as well. I mean, for me, I don't have as much going on in America like you do. I do have bookings or whatever, or a few clients there, but you like Mom's got a whole business there. So kol hakavod.
Yeah. No, I go to sleep like really late. I work New York hours
and then you are there every day, pretty much on time, like almost definitely rove on time, 7 o'clock. And I'm just saying, like we shouldn't just brush over certain achievements that we managed to learn so much. We did a lot of Kutumar and a lot of Tanya, already in the 13th chapter. And as I said, it was before we started recording, a lot of people are actually listening, much more than I realized. And I shout out to all those people, whoever's sharing it, thank you very much. Because I think I'd like to hear back from people. I'd like to hear, what Eli said, and we have to distinguish which Eli, because there's two Elis here. English Eli, or the real English Eli. The one who's actually got a sense of humor, Eli. Then if you want to send in, like you disagree, you agree, you want to sponsor Eli's business efforts in America.
Sponsor
Chillin' for Thursday night. So touch base. Hine midas ahava. So we're still with this Beinoni on Perek Shlosha. Now we need to catch up a little bit of Chaim Miller, his version, because yesterday when we learned we didn't have him here, and I always like to see. I think one of the milers of the way we're learning, because we have a bit more time than most people when they're learning Tanya, is that we've made the time. And that's also a shevach to us both. That when we're learning Tanya, we're seeing not just the lessons in Tanya or one of these old school translations, this edition, or what we've heard from Rabbonim, like Rav Shai Stauber, Rabbi Jacobson, Manis Freeman, and the list goes on and on, Moshe Wilson, a long list of Rabbonim, probably even Moshe Weinberger. I don't know if he's ever given Shurim in Tanya.
He has. It was maybe
have I listened
to
it?
2 years long.
Maybe I listened to it.
He has a time this year. It's intense now.
Could be I did. And Rav Shlomo right now is mamish in tune with our learning Tanya in terms of Ginsburg. So we've got a lot of Torah surrounding us. We've got David Jerome here in the frat. I listened to his show also on SoundCloud.
My son started learning that with David Rich.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, he's special. Yeah, that's good. He's a real deal. So I also speak to him about business stuff. He's like very experienced. He's gone through a lot. But back to the Chaim Miller one, I just feel like if we bring in all these different places, then hopefully we're going to get shut, at least as best as we can. We're going to understand what Hashem's wanting us to understand from the Sefer Tanya. Because remember, this is a huge goyim, and he's a huge lamdan and a huge tzaddik, and he's spent months and months on each word and letter, on every single thing in this Sefer. So it wasn't just written like quickly or just, you can run through it. It's deep. So what does Chaim Miller say? Because I think it just adds another outlook, and plus he's very universal and academic in his language, even though I don't always like that approach, but I think overall it's been actually really helpful.
Right. I'm just looking through it now. He said what we said yesterday, that how Rabbah thought he was a Beinoni.
Yes.
Because he said, I've never been able to prove that I'm not a Beinoni because I'm under the assumption my Yitzhak is just sleeping.
Yeah.
And the animal soul is just sleeping.
I thought of a pshat we touched on yesterday, and I thought of it in a deeper way yesterday. Is the Rabbah it's coming from a Nevis. I really feel.
Like you were saying,
you did say that, but I started really feeling it. Because often we talk down about ourselves, yeah? Now, obviously, he has self-esteem in a healthy way. It's not like our generation when we talk down on ourselves, put lack of self-esteem or whatever, coming from unhealthy places. But the Rabbi, I'm sure when he said these things, it's from a healthy anivus, healthy humility, and also he really deeply felt that way about himself.
And this is the whole other thing.
Yeah.
So this is the part he then two wives.
What does that mean?
A two wife.
Two wife?
A two wife is like a yeshivish.
That's a Yiddish. I didn't hear that one so much.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they said it differently because I've been around all the Hasidish Yiddish.
Like
two wives.
Two wife.
Two wife.
A two wife is like he takes it a step further.
Okay, let's hear what the two wife is of Reb Chaim Mela.
The yeshiva charade song.
No.
Yeshiva charade, yeshiva shazach.
Remember, I joined the yeshiva when I was 19, 19. So I didn't have that exposure. And then
that's some journeys.
Within a few years, I was already in the Hasidic world. So I didn't hang out that long.
Charade, So anyway, so he says here, even if the Beinoni could not achieve deeply, okay, this is just one side thing, they're emotional, like Rabbah, he spends the whole time davening. And his internal experience would be indistinguishable from the tzaddik because, he would be basically, once he's always learning the davening, his animal soul is asleep. And that is why it says, even if the entire world tells you you're a tzaddik, you should consider yourself like a rasha. What does that mean? Because even if you never experience an urge for sin or self-gratification, you might just be like a Beinoni who prays all day, who is indistinguishable from a tzaddik. Meaning, it was it's such an interesting, now suddenly it all makes sense. Meaning what he's saying is don't think that you're a Beinoni, not a tzaddik, or a rasha. Meaning think that you are, I guess that part is a little bit strange because this is the actual word rasha. Then he writes example Beinoni. So, I don't know.
I don't really get much from that, honestly, other than what we learned. It didn't seem like he added.
No, he didn't answer, but it doesn't really make sense either, because the language is Rasha, not Beinoni. If it said Beinoni, it makes sense. It says you should consider yourself like a Rasha, not like a Beinoni.
Yeah. It's like a Rasha, Ko-Rasha.
We'll write
I think that the challenge is to talk to people like they're Rishayim is very difficult.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk to people that way, especially nowadays, especially the Fi Chassidus was always emphasizing on building people. Musa, no problem, you can call someone a Rasha, you call them a Golem, you call them whatever you want. Maybe not the Musa of YISRAEL Salant, but some of the names I've heard Choshed people called when they were kids in Cheder and Yeshiva. I don't know if you ever had those names. But
boy. I was...
all the names, Vildachaya.
I was a Vildachaya. I was a Mechutzev and a Chutzpah.
There we go.
I was both.
I've had that once, actually.
I'm a Mechutzev and a Chutzpah. I was a Vildachaya. I was a Chayro.
Someone called me a Mazik.
Mazik, I got
a Rosh Cholah, I got the Mazik one. I was telling him a story about my journey. Because it was a Parsha, Lefia Parsha. I was excited. I was learning at Chumash Rashi about, but not being a Mazik and, all the different things. So I said, I have a story once when I was a Mazik, as a kid. I didn't say the word I was a man. I said when I was a kid, I with a friend, we burnt down this forest in London. Obviously, it was very scary. The police were pursuing us. It was a whole story. This whole big fire engines came, and it was a whole thing. We ran away. It was a whole thing. And the Rosh Cholah, instead of I said it's amazing how far I've come now that I'm learning about it in Rashi Chumash. He says to me, it seems to me you're just a mazik. And I'm what? I'm about tshuva, you shmero. Like this Rosh Cholah. I was like, do you not get the point of the story? I'm not going around burning forests anymore. Do you not see the chiluk?
I've been called that.
But then Chumash Rashi with you trying to get chizuk from the Chumash, how far I've come. And this guy just didn't get it. Kofa, you've been called that?
I've been called a lot of things. I don't remember all of them. One time,
we're in the therapy office.
My principal told me that when I get older, I'm going to end up in jail.
Chas v'shalom.
He said you were going to end up in jail.
This is the worst chinuch ever. So anyway, Derek Hasidus is the opposite. We're trying to not emphasize the onion of wickedness or Rishoyim. Even the way we learned it went past it very quick. And even then we talked about the Shorosh Shechina. So I'm not saying how we learned it, but the Tanya really gave a very small amount of writings on the Rishoyim. It was all straight back into the Beinonim. But so then I understand what he's trying to do with Chaim Miller, because it is a focus on the Beinonim, but he does say Karasha. Let's just put it out.
Right.
Because when we do Averis, we're like a Rasha. When we don't manifest Averis, we're like a Beinoni. We might still have the Nefesh Bahamas inside of us, because we're not doing actual Averis. That's the Nakuda.
Yeah. We'd have to find out why he uses. But that line is from Perek Avos and from Gemara, that you should consider yourself like a Rasha.
Yeah, Perek Avos, which is based on Chazal's explanations.
So there's still what to understand with that.
Sure, and the point is what's clever when you're learning Tanya is it's all has to be consistent with other parts of Torah, which includes also, which is the Chiddush of the Sefer Chassidus, Zohar, Penimis Torah. Has to be consistent with that. It's not just only you're in, like when you're learning Rashi Tosfos, you're in the word of Chazal.
About Tanya also, it seems like the Tanya is more of just an introspective experience within myself.
Yeah.
So meaning it doesn't tell me what I'm supposed to consider other people. Like, it doesn't give you any instructions on what to think about other people, how to talk to other people, or what, you know.
We did say about the Ben Chavero, that whole section in Beinoni, in terms of being able to, how does it manifest as a Beinoni? Give a bunch of examples. That we don't get bakas and don't have jealousy. And
right, when we're all together, when there's the Hashras Hashchina, when they have 10 people.
No, that was the end of the one talking about the Shoim. I'm talking about for the Beinoni, when they were saying about how our Ben and Chavera should also be without Averas. So we because he was talking about Ben Olam Mochem.
Right, no, but that's
our connection to the divine service, and then it's talking about how we treat people, and that's to do with our midas, not allowing them to manifest in terms of anger, jealousy, learning to forgive, all these different things.
But that's more of an internal process.
Okay.
I'm saying, like, let's say, like, when you learn the term of Nach, when you learn, like, many of the, like it's almost like you leave and you think about it, you look at everyone and you're like, such a, like, the YITZCHAK,
the Kudas Tovus.
Everyone's in the Kudas Tovus.
Oh, I hear what you're saying. It's more inward, the way the Tanya is talking about, whereas
it's bone in it.
Chabad, Breslov is talking about outward, how you look at other people.
Right.
But I think the point of, and we're going to get there later on in Perek Lamed Beis, funny enough, we say Gemach Leiv, from Norris Domai. We're going to get to that Perek Leiv, and we're going to see over there the famous Torah that there is a whole Perek of and a whole focus into Avos YISRAEL. How we get to that, how we do help. So I suppose we just have to get to that point where we're ready for it, because it's not straight away in the Tanya. It is more inner work, inner struggle. Especially these chapters are all about the inner struggle.
Right.
So at this point you're right, but later on it is a hashlama. He does get into the how we interact with Am Yisrael. Okay, let's go.
Okay, Baruch Hashem.
And that was the first Tanya I ever learned in my life. Perek Lamed Beis.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
I was in London with some Chabad Bach.
Leave. You and Amar Stadamai.
Yeah, there we go.
We're up to Vihine or
Hine. Vihine.
Vihine. Midas Ahava Zu.
Yes.
Venus B'Shat Tefillah. Al Yedei His Gabas and Nefesh Alikus. Right. Right. From strengthening Vihine Legabe Madrigas at Tzadikim of the Hashem Be'emes La'amitai. Right. We'll compare it to Legabe Madrigas at Tzadikim of the Hashem Be'emes La'amitai. Ein bechinas ahava zu nikres b'shem avodas emes klal.
This is a new step.
This type of love of the Beinoni could not be classified as genuine worship, right?
So
avodas emes klal.
This is one of the issues we have. Like even when I was just trying to give you some praise or give ourselves some chizuk of what we've accomplished, it's hard to keep the agenda out of the picture, not have nagias, not to have, even with all kinds of scenarios. A tzaddik has emes avoda. When he's doing anything, it's truth, perfect truth.
Right.
It's pure. There's no negias b'chlau. There's no nefesh bahamas to mix up in it.
Right.
So it's just a pure. This is the only thing when you have to be real with people. Like my wife and I sometimes say, it's really hard to trust anyone nowadays. And if you think about it, there's some truth to that. Why? Because they have a nefesh bahamas. They have their own negias. At the end of it, they're going to take care of themselves if they're listening to Nefesh Bahamas. Yeah,
right.
Be Nefesh because you can do works on Hashem. So whatever Hashem says, I'm not going to just take care of what my own needs. If it's works on Hashem to help this other person, I'll help this other person. But the majority of people are not always, completely serving Hashem with emes. And I think he's even getting at a higher level. It's true service, this love, it's very pure. I think we need to learn a bit more to understand it, because it's hard to get. These are subtle nuances. Since it passes and disappears after prayer. Yeah, so that's the problem with the Beinoni. That awareness and awakeness of the nefesh elikus is no longer, the mokum de gadlus is no longer there. So you've got stuff mixed up in you, man.
What?
And I also do. We've got a nefesh bahamis that wakes up and it starts influencing a little bit our avoda. Ksiv svasam is tikkun ad, our gerloshin sheker. The language of truth shall be established forever, but the tongue of falsehood is only momentary. Ooh, that's interesting. It's the other way around now. That pasuk in Mishlei is the other way around. So it's like truth is always established, but sheker is only momentary. But that makes sense, I suppose, in a way. Because now if you think about it in the true sense, if you're focusing on the MS, when you're in davening and learning, that's actually who you really are. That's the problem. I personally keep doing that. I keep identifying myself with nefesh bahamis. No, when we're in davening and we're learning, we're actually with the nefesh elikus, and that's our true essence. Your true you is davening and serving Hashem.
Right.
In truth, that's who you are. Be'emes, you're in the shama. Now, after davening comes this momentary, this transitionary falsehood. That's what's not forever. That part of you, the nefesh bahamis that awakens again, is not forever. The differences with tzaddikim is they're consistently with truth all the time. Some of this like up and down stuff that we're dealing with, depending on where you're at. Afal PK and the Gabi Madregas of Beinoni Nikraim Avodas Tama, Be'emes Lamito Shalahem. Nevertheless, related to the rank of Beinoni, this level of love is regarded as a truly perfect service in terms of their level of truth. So within the level of Beinoni, this is truth also. It's also Avoda Tama, which is called the perfect service. Each, I don't really like perfect though. When anyone uses the word perfect, I get nervous.
Well, then Hashem's perfect.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like it's an emissary word to use because of, this Jews have a big YITZCHAK. I was a big fan of a LCSW called Mordechai Weinberg. I had anything to do with him in New York.
I think I've heard of him.
Yeah, he used to have a show and I was on there once or twice and we have a friendship every so on. We speak by email. But he said the biggest YITZCHAK for the Jewish people, like in terms of mental, no, he wouldn't use the word YITZCHAK, so the mental, two things, perfectionism and the mental issues of the Jewish world are basically shorished in two problems. Perfectionism and what's the other one? Where we're overly connected to each other. I think I have this bit. I think I have a bit with this with my wife, but it probably could be healthy. Enmeshment, but there's another word, codependent.
Codependence.
Two things that Jews have massive issues with in an obvious sense. We're overly perfectionist and we're codependent. So the here we're talking about when he says perfect service, I don't know, I get triggered. Because anything perfection focus can actually make us crazy.
Here he doesn't use that word.
He uses it?
He uses the word ideal.
There we go, much better.
Beinoni's love during prayer, which passes classified as ideal worship.
See, there we go. Chaim helped us today. I prefer, let's use ideal service.
Thank you, Hashem, for Chaim.
Because then I find perfectionism is more of a sign than it's worth using, if you know what I mean. The word perfect is, like you said, there's nothing perfect other than Hashem. So then start having dimyonis, you're perfect. There is no perfect. Ish kafi medregaso medregaso bonanim. In each every relative to standing in the category of the Beinonim is subverted into many levels. So this is once again it's really good what the Balatani does is he gives us klalim, but then he goes into the pratim and really gives us the ability to be nuanced and individual with it, which is much more healthy than just leaving us with these generalizations which are quite hard for each of us on our level and individual situation to apply. Their love to which they possess only during prayer, the language of truth shall be established forever. Their love is true and permanent, though manifest only when? During prayer.
Right.
So that's the whole thing. I mean, I don't know why it's only prayer. Why not learning? Why not I don't know. That's the catch a little bit. I mean, I think there was some point someone mentioned the learning as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea of the Vreichem, when it had the whole shtickle before about the Beinonim who are learning all day, so it's a bechina of halavai mispalo kol yom, like they're davening all day because the Torah is not going out their mouth. But then the Rabbah did make a chiluk that never not learning doesn't mean you're a tzaddik. That was his point.
Right.
It's the concept of being in a state of prayer. For some reason, prayer weakens the nefesh bahamis to the point where it's you can feel like a tzaddik in that moment. And if you do it all the time, then maybe you are a tzaddik. You know, like one of the explanations of Esther, Malka, and Mordechai, tzaddik, in Purim, is every time they were talking to Achashverosh or anybody, they were in a state of tefillah. You ever heard that, Perish?
Yeah.
Like when it says HaMelech, it means real the Melech. They didn't look at Achashverosh as Achashverosh. They looked at it as all a talk with HaMelech, with the real boss, Hashem, and they were beseeching Hashem to get rid of the Gezeres. That's literally the conversation they were having throughout the Megillah. It was all a Panemius Avoda. It wasn't an external. I mean, there was the external stuff going on, but that's not the point of it. The point of it was, according to Svarim Panimim, they were having an inner conversation with Hashem the whole time about removing the gezeres of Haman and Achashverosh, and they knew that the shorish of everything is Hashem. So why talk to these people? They'll talk to them, but the Panimis, the inner state was more concerned with Hamelech, with the king. I mean, it's a very deep way of understanding the Megillah, but the point is that being in a state of tefillah gives you a certain truth that's established forever.
Right.
And that's the true reality of creation, that we're always with Hashem. And Hashem's always the one who's running everything. So really, why waste your time? Like when you're sending that letter to these people, for example, you mentioned before, or any kind of business interactions, in the end, when you go back to daven, then you remind yourself it's going to be the Hashem on the side of their success anyway.
Right.
So in the end, the most important thing is the tefillahs and the connection to Hashem.
Right, sure.
So it's a divine soul has the power to awaken this love constantly. It's waiting up constantly whenever it gathers strength during prayer, day after day. By means of the spiritual preparation appropriate to each soul's quality and rank. I like this. It's giving us chilukim, like ways to understand this on an individual level. Since the divine soul has the power to awaken this love constantly when it gets strength during prayer. So everyone Hashem gave us a system. Like He put into creation, just like we need to eat and drink and to function, survive as a human being, survive as a soul, we have to daven. That gives nourishment to our soul and strengthens our nefesh elikus to the point where we get to a state of MS where that's dominant completely. And through that preparation, and according to each person's neshama, I like that. Kol nefesh kafi arucha medregosa, and his rank. So you're not going to be like Rav Sumaya's tefillahs or Moshe Weinberg's tefillahs or Rav Shlomo's tefillahs. You're going to be on your tefillah, on your level, on your Beinoni, Eli Shaf, Eli Goldsmith level, and you're on the Shama, the Shorish and Shama. It's going to be able to do at that moment.
Right, interesting.
And it's the Beinoni love of God is thus constant. So it's either active revealed state or in potentia, and can be revealed at any moment throughout the day. So remember that we had to talk about the Avos and Mysteris. You have this hidden love, so any time of the day you can awaken it. How do you awaken it? I don't know, learning, davening, acts of chesed, serious nefesh. The quality of truth we found on every level. Each truth means an essence core at that level. Truth is defined as that which agrees with the essence of that particular where it's measured. Okay, that's a deep point in the lessons Tanya just said. Because truth, you said, is the ultimate, there's emes and mito, and then there's an emes according to your state, your reality.
Or Nachman has that.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite important, that little,
where is it? Is that
definition.
Kutamar or where is that story?
Emes and mito?
Yeah.
It's in the Kutamar.
That's Rav Nassan.
Oh, the Nassan, that's a story in one of the Svarim of Sipurim about Rabbi Nachman. Like biography, like Sikhs Saran maybe, or would bring the concept, but the actual story is brought down.
That story, okay. Yeah,
but in the Kutumaron, the concept of Emes and Mito, but that Lashon is brought again and again in the Kutumaron. So it is a Lashon he uses when he's teaching Torah.
Yeah, because I was one time learning with Weinberger this year.
Yeah, he brings that story,
Talked about that story. He loved the story. In the back door.
You know, really what it is, like that famous name of the Sefer of Michtav Eliyahu, strive for truth. It's that constant journey towards truth. But it's going to be a journey, and it's going to be according to your level. It's not going to be according to someone else's truth. So you say, but there's only one truth. No, Hashem that's the amazing thing. You know, there's only one truth, like ultimately, but Hashem created individuals, and each one has their own chelik of Torah, their own truth, and that fits into the ultimate truth. It's not a stira. It's a little bit profound. My head's hurting actually thinking about it. But the fact that there's so many different levels of truth, like there's like thousands of mashalim just to understand one concept, like Shlomo Melech says. There's levels and levels of truth, and that's okay. We can live with that. Since this is so, all in the myriad levels of spiritual worlds, from the very highest to the very lowest, since the lowest levels are in comparison to the highest. So he asked the question, how can we say the lower grades possess truth? So if you're looking at someone who say he's more lower level soul, I know who that is, but say you have a guy who's a bit more, you know, in the world, you know, like you know, he's running things in Manhattan, yeah, whatever, I don't know, maybe. So he's very truthful when it comes to politics and facts, and you know, but you wouldn't go to him to ask Psak Halacha or Pnimius Svarim, So he's got his truth, but how can that be like talking about clarifying the truth about Biden's dementia? Might be true because it means he shouldn't really be in position of any authority anymore, and that could be true, but it's not a truth compared to understanding Chabad, Pnimius, or P'tach Halacha. That's a much higher realm of truth. It's a much higher level soul, someone who's dealing with that constantly and guiding neshamas, like Rebbes or something. Yeah, that each has its own core of truth. The things are true if you agree with the essence of their own level, and untrue if they do not. They need not agree with a higher level to be considered true. Okay, so on that level of truth, Ben Shapiro is true.
Yeah.
In terms of, he's probably one of the most truthful commentators out there, I would say, as a fan of his, in that space. But I would not put him anywhere near in the rabbi world in terms of truths of Hashkafa, Musa, you know, Hasidus. That's not where he's featuring. So in his place, it's true, but in the higher realms of souls and neshamas and discussions, his discussion is no longer like when you had him on the Meaningful People and he spoke about tefillah. It wasn't like the highest level of speech on avodas tefillah. He's still having challenges with that. Maybe he's better now, and Kala Kabodi was able to be open and honest about it.
Right.
That was very truthful that he was honest about it, that he struggles with it. But maybe it's improved a lot. You know, he's in a much more Jewish place right now, living in Boca and all that, and being around people like River from Goldberg and other people.
Oh, that's where he lives in Florida now?
Yeah. So
where did he move from? LA?
LA. So he went from LA to,
I can imagine that he probably gets death threats daily.
Oh, he has a whole security team and everything.
Oh, he does. He has a security
team?
Yeah,
proper security, like high level. And they were the ones who informed him about October the 7th. He was in Yom Tov, simple story. Or it was Shmini Atzeres by him. And when he came out of Yom Tov, he said, who informed me? His security team. Because he has to know.
A security team in Israel or in America?
In America. They have to tell him. Maybe he has some here, but I don't know why we need them staying here. He needs them with him. But
I'm surprised he hasn't moved to Israel yet.
No, he has. Yeah, I heard him talk about it very clearly. I've overly listened to him, just like I used to overly listen to Weinberger.
I can't listen to him, he gives me a headache.
I listen to him. So he's explained that he has so much to do, because he came to speak in Tel Aviv, and I went to the speech in person. Shlomo was there. Shlomo sent me a nice picture with Ben. And before I moved
recently or years ago?
It wasn't so long ago.
Before the war,
yeah, way before the war. About a year and a half ago. Right. So I was just deciding to move to Frat when I got that picture from Shlomo, and I thought it was so nice when Shlomo sent me that picture. Anyway, it was like as it was happening, he forwarded it on to me because he knew I was a fan of Ben somehow. I don't know how he knew, but anyway, and then Ben spoke of that whole thing, and he said he has a mission to do that. It's like the Weinberg, everyone has their community. He has this media empire. If he moves to Israel, he did look into building resources here, and I was even sending my CV and saying I'll help you if you want. Like, I really would be up for it. Like, someone on that level to come and build an media empire, extend it to here. But it hasn't happened. And I think one of the reasons is because they have to keep that pro-American focus. Once they align completely with Israel, they'll lose a lot of ability to be influential globally.
Right.
Because it's almost like now they're completely taking sides.
Right.
Why do you think they've left Candace on the team? Yeah, I know this is going off a little bit, but we're talking about MS on different levels. So Candace, we know, has got issues with the Jewish people, whether she admits it or not. Yeah, but I've been listening to her quite recently, and people she's associated with, I just get this feeling like, as much as she says she's got Jewish friends and all this and that, but there's something where she's not tuning into the good of our people. That's for sure. Yeah, she's like getting caught up with people like, yeah. She's getting caught up with people like Shmuel B'Teach and getting angry with him and all that kind of controversy, and I hate all that stuff. So, why are they letting her stay on the team? You know, people have asked that to Ben. Yeah, he's the boss. Him and what's his name, Jeremy, can just get rid of it. So the answer is, I think, because I said this to Rosh Shlomo when he mentioned it in the car one time with Rosh Shlomo Katz. We were discussing about her, and he's like very upset with her. And I said, I think that they need to keep the broad appeal. That's their agenda. So
but
that
can't just be one-sided.
And if they moved to Israel and built a branch here, it would carry over that's what's happened.
Interesting.
That's my feeling.
All right, any more last thoughts?
Because in the end, it's an American company. Yeah, we need Mashiach. I think ultimately everyone's going to have to do that bureau and actually just choose, our people or the world. It's like it's going to come to that point. And really what it doesn't mean, we're not going against the world, we're just being the best we can be as Jews, which means to just totally focus on our MS and not be like all this watered down, trying to like fit in with the world. But it's complicated, I'm not a business owner like him, so I don't have those kind of tests. It's easy for me to talk, because she has a big influence, so it's a big cheshbon to get rid of someone like that. Maybe he hopes keeping her there will keep her in at least somewhat positive direction towards this subject. I hope so.
Yeah.
From that whole conversation, for truth is the attribute of Yaakov. We're about Titan Emes Yaakov. You gave truth to Yaakov.
What here? Yeah, he has a whole little write-up here.
Go on then.
He writes, according to Kabbalah, biblical stories are not merely historical instructional narrative. They depict the emergence of fundamental spiritual energies.
Right.
Patriarchs, for example, were not merely individual significance. They were embodied a paradigm.
I like that word,
new
paradigm.
Way of living, which influences us all. So Yaakov is the of Emes. Was called an honest man, it brings the pasuk.
Titan Emes Yaakov.
It says here, Yaakov, whose mouth was constantly with his heart, not attuned to dishonesty.
Wow. Yeah, because Asa was the opposite. He knew how to speak good, which is a lot of the world out there, the whole media world. It's like they speak one thing, like Biden or whatever, but inside their heart there's something else.
Right.
There's never like that true. There's the as it said, Tochoj Kabora, like the inside is like the outside. Most people are not like that.
Right, and then he says Avram is benevolence and YITZCHAK was restraint.
Yeah.
Avram's benevolence is spirit is crucial for mankind, but if overdone will lead to the support of unworthy causes.
Yeah.
I mean, Avram was just like, you needed more than that because it was just supporting, which is why you see, like, it's almost like why the Muslims believe Avram Avinu is their Zaidi too.
Yeah, they do.
Because in that way he was like just this
Yishmael, he was the son of Avram.
Right, but I'm saying that it also fits within the Torah of Avram Avinu.
Sure.
And then it says YITZCHAK, it causes
I went to Muslims' houses and they used to do very good achnas orchid. I'm not going to deny it.
It causes
they brought out this giant fish. Literally. I heard they literally cooked a fish just for me coming round.
Wow.
Now they went on, I don't know if I even ate it, but then they ended up putting a video on trying to brainwash me to join Islam, so then that wasn't a good part of the meal.
Right.
But I'll never forget
to see what non-radical Islam is like. Such a thing exists.
Yeah, it does.
It's like the whole world is just radical.
You know who was talking a lot to those kind of guys? Jordan Peterson. He was talking a lot to those people. Before this war happened, and there was suddenly a much stronger divide and more fear amongst the Islam world to speak in the more middle way.
I think
He was having a lot of conversations with
radical Islam
more moderate Islam.
Non-radical.
That's the problem. Yeah, they're scared.
People, like, the world is so blind. It's so insane.
But Peterson was trying to build an alliance with those guys.
Like, they just came in now in Haiti or South, whatever. It's like this shit.
Shlomi Zions is trying to build an alliance with one of them. One of them's gone. We don't even know where he is. That famous Muslim that he's pictured with, from Saudi Arabia, he's gone missing.
Sunni, what is it, the Sunni and the Shiites and the Thinkies?
Yeah, and some are more radical than the others.
So anyways, it causes self-sanctioned immorality and addiction.
Yeah, so that's the problem. When it's the persolus of it, the negative part, where it goes too far, the chesed.
Right, the chesed, right. Isaac's path of restraint resolves many of these issues.
Yeah.
But also has the side effects of rigidity, harshness, and obsessive compulsive behavior.
There we go.
I mean, he's bringing it down to the real MS here. Yaakov's paradigm aims to selectively apply chesed and gvura.
Yeah, Avram and Yitzhak to the
benevolence and restraint.
That's why he's called the chosen of the Avos.
Has to be optimize their virtues and eliminate undesirable effects. This is the path of truth.
Right.
Truth media. Since we have Elif. Alfei Abdelas.
Yeah.
Since we have seen truth is synonymous with sustainability and the elimination of undesirable effects makes a project sustainable.
Yes.
In the biblical now we see Yaakov's path was completely sustainable and that all his children continued in his faith. In contrast,
why are we outsourcing this right now?
Alright, now
you're outsourcing it? I see you outsourcing. Come again.
We sold for me to reach
okay, we're outsourcing this. So I just want to say the middle bowl, which secures everything from end to end. That was the next part. We didn't translate that. Nikra briach haticham briach mina ketza ketza. We just had this in the Mishkan in Shmos in Pastor's Truma, and it's I think brought in Yaakov again as well. This briach hatichon, this middle bowl, which goes all miraculously goes around the whole tabernacle. That is connected to the concept of emes. Because it just as the middle bowl is the middle kav. What's the middle kav? Remember we talked about kavim the other day? There's branches. We said the gevura is shorished and bina. It's all the kav of the left kav. The right kav is chesed, netzach, and chochma, chesed, netzach.
You see sometimes the picture the Mishkan has like a whole circle around it.
Oh, so that tichon, that bar that goes and brings all the boards together,
right,
and it miraculously goes round. It turns round.
Right.
They don't even need to bend it or do anything. It just naturally, when they put it inside, it would go all the way around through the holes, all the way around and bring it all together. It's a miraculous thing, derech nes. And that represents the kav, the emsoi, this middle branch. What's this middle branch? It's kesa or das. Teferes, which is MS, which is Yaakov's Midah, and then Yesod Malchus. That's the middle kav. Yeah?
Right, interesting.
So that's Yaakov Vinu's middle kav. So that's the idea that's drawing everything together.
Mm-hmm. Right, it says here in Kabbalah, tabernacle is perceived as a grand map of the cosmos and the psyche.
I like that.
like Cosmo Kramer.
I need to learn to speak a little bit more like this kind of...
Right, Cosmo Kramer.
No, but if I started speaking like that, it wouldn't be being me.
Right, the tabernacle, central bar, symbolizes...
He's actually English, kind of, Miller. So,
yeah. Jacob's paradigm of truth. Since it is the only structural thread running throughout the entire tabernacle. The hallmark of MS, then, is an all-pervasiveness expressed by sustainability under all circumstances.
Yeah.
It's a lot of words. The MS, right? MS is what really runs as a common thread. MS is...
And it's on all levels of life. That's one of the beautiful things. This is where Baalei Tshuva, or people that get misunderstand Yiddishkeit, when they go to MS.
Too much MS.
Yeah, it's like the Kotzker was like MS Adasof, but it meant no one could be around him, and he couldn't be around people anymore.
Right.
So obviously that's a saddic's the sign with MS. For us people, we can be too emistic but it's true, you say to someone, but they're like, yeah, but you just ruined your marriage.
Right. Do you like distress? No.
Like, so what? It's true, but it's not what Hashem wants. It's not true on the level of that person. That person, you needed to just give them chizuk and thank and appreciation. Ki heina midas emes and midas Yaakov had nikra b'riach tikam b'riach min hakatza lekatza.
Wait, where do we go now?
Merom amalas.
Merom hamalas.
In the spiritual terms, Madregas ad sof kol dargin. So this is what we just said. That from the highest graduation level to end of all grades, it goes on all the levels. This emes.
Right.
V'kol ma'alam Madrega mabriach toich nekuda emsois. In each graduation level passes through the central point of this particular. So the middle kav, it goes through everything in creation.
Right.
In the end, everything has that kav.
Right.
Creation doesn't exist without this middle kav of MS.
Interesting.
If something is completely sheker, it would stop existing. You understand? The only thing that gives it existence is it's connected to some nekuda of MS. Shehi nekudas bechinas midas MS shala, which is then becomes a point of quality. We'll just finish off the chapter.
Yeah.
We're almost there. Shehi nekudas bechinas midas MS shala, that which then becomes a point of quality of the standard, the level of truth.
Right.
Midas MS hi nachla bli meitzarim. Yeah, the attribute of MS is an unbounded inheritance.
Yeah.
Bli meitzarim. There's no meitzarim. Just like Shabbos is bli meitzarim, nachshach bli meitzarim. We're tuning into this time where there's no restrictions, no limitations. It's a ufuratz that just spreads out. Ein la shir lamala ad rom hamalis. It has no upper limit to the highest levels. Kol malas hamedrega shematahem kein legabi malas hamedrega shalamala mehen. And all the lower graduation levels are nothing compared with those superior to them. So truth is on all levels, despite their disparity. You must conclude the standard truth on each level is relative to the core of that level. It's important for this statement the lower levels grades are incomparable to the higher ones, because he has to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do with these lower levels now? Because
Right.
it does seem there's massive difference in the truth of the higher ones and the truth of the lower ones. Remember we learned it's Kabbalah, yeah, Chochmah to Malchus, we learned that. There's known to those familiar with Kabbalah that the quality, the head and intellect, the highest level within lower grades is inferior to the soles and feet, the very level in the highest grades.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's deep. Can you explain that?
It's deep stuff.
The idea, the quality of Rosh, the highest level within the lower grades. Here we go. If you have, I've got this now. There's a show. The Chochmah of Malchus. Let's just label it. You get what I'm saying? Chochmah Malchus. Malchus Olam Asir. Chochmah of Olam Asir, of this world. The biggest Chachamim of this world. You take an Einstein, yeah. You take Albert Einstein. Wow, Oppenheimer, one of these dudes, yeah. Just won a lot of Oscars, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Take Oppenheimer. He's the Chacham of Olam Asir. A genius in physics and everything. That's all this world. Now you take Moshe Rabbeinu, whose Chochmah goes all the way up to Olam Bria. Yeah?
Right.
And if you're talking now about the Malchus, the Bria of Moshe Rabbeinu's understanding, his Malchus is who's on a higher level. The Malchus of Moshe Rabbeinu is Olam Bria, which is the lowest level of Malchus the Bria, Malchus of the Olam Bria, which is where Moshe Rabbeinu was able to reach. And you could take the level of this Oppenheimer Chochmah or Einstein Chochmah the Asir of Olam Asir, who's on a higher level.
Right.
So it sounds like if Chochmah is much higher than Malchus.
Right. But we
not,
talk in terms of MS.
But not in that world, in that realm of Bria. Bria is way above Olam Asir. So once you've added that Nakuda that you're talking about Moshe Rabbeinu, and he's shorished in the Olamas of Bria, in his wisdom and his Malchus, that's way higher than even the biggest Chacham of Olam Asir. Because it depends on which plane, which shorish you're talking about. So even if you're talking the hill steps, the lowest level of Bria is still way, way, way above the highest level of Asir. There's a whole world in between, YITZCHAK. There's a whole world of formation in between. Creation is way higher than action. The world of Machshava is way higher than the world of action.
Raglei achayis keneged kulam.
Let's see what he says.
Let's contribute to all of them.
Raglei achayis keneged kulam. The feet of the highest surpass all those lower levels than them, including the highest degree of the lowest levels. So that was deep when he quoted the Gemara in Chagiga, the idea that the feet of the highest, these are the angels, surpass it. Because you have to understand, highest are the holiest of the angels.
Right.
That's basically what it's saying. So even the feet of those angels is higher than the heads of all the other angels below that. Because the Chayas, from what I remember, is Shorished in the Olam Abriya. And the other angels is sourced where? In Olam Yitzra'el. So who's on a higher level? The Chayas are way higher. Where do we talk about the Chayas in Darmani? In Birkas Krishma. What Olam is that in terms of Tefillah? In terms of Tefillah, it's Olam Abriya. Yeah, there's a system here. When you're saying Chayas HaKodesh in Tefillah, you're in that place of Briya.
Wow.
That's the level of the level. When you go up... No, not in Keter. You're not in Briya. In Birkas Krishma. When you're in Pezuka de Zimra, which is the Olam of the lower angels, that's Olam Yetzirah. So each different part of Tefillah is in different Olam. That's why the goal is to get to Atzilis, to get to Shemona Esrei, which is in front of Hashem Mamish. And then you bring that down through the last 3 parts of Tefillah. You go up 3 levels, like you walk 3 steps. The 3 parts level, Korbanos, Pezuka Zimra, Birkas Krishma, that would take you those 3 levels through Atzia, Yitzirah, Briya, and then you're in the world of Atzilis, Shemona Esrei. So the highest who we mentioned in Davening in Briya are higher than the angels that are praising Hashem and the Olam Yitzirah. We don't mention them in Pezuka Zimra, but they're hinted there. Like for example, on Shabbos we say Chai Olamim. Shabbos is a more revealed level. What's that? That's the song of the Malachim. But it's not the level of the Chayas. The Chayas is up in the Briya.
Chayas are higher than that.
That's high. That's the Kodesh, all that stuff. And that's why even their feet are on a higher level than the angels. I'm not saying everything I said was Emesamito because we're
gonna chazer tomorrow.
I think so, and then we'll start chapter 14, Mr. Hashem, which is a big step forward.
Oh, Mama! Yom Tov. I'll see you later.
Good thing my head's actually hurting. That's a good thing.